everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. Starting with some movies. First, I went to see Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is amazing. It's so good. Michelle Yeoh is fantastic, obviously. Actually, everyone is really fantastic. And it was great to see Ke Huy Quan in another movie. You might recall him as Short Round in Indiana Jones or Data in the Goonies. I was actually kind of stunned to look him up and find out that he's only like 6 months younger than I am, because I seem to recall when I saw Indiana Jones and the Goonies, I was older and he was a kid, but somehow we're the same age. But then I end up with a huge crush on him in the like Wong Kar-wai universe that's all like moody and sexy lit and everything. But it's such a good movie. Basically, the multiverse is in danger from an evil force, and Michelle Yeoh's character has to save it, but there's so much more going on than that. The script is hilarious. It's also super heartfelt. It's very clever. There's some amazing action, obviously. It's impressive how, even with all of these multiple characters and multiple universes and the general insanity of everything, that it all holds together as well as it does. If I have any complaint, it's that it's a bit long. It's close to 2.5 hours, and towards the end you do start to feel the length. But I don't know what you could cut. I mean, I guess you could cut the raccoon, but that was really funny. I don't know. Anyway, go see it. I think it's opening a little wider now, because when I saw it, it was only in one AMC theater. But now it seems to be in others in New York City, so it seems to be opening wider, so definitely check it out. It's really, really good. On the other end of the spectrum, I also went to see The Lost City, which was fine. It was merely adequate. So it's super disappointing. Like, I get the impression that it thinks that it's funnier than it actually is. I laughed a few times, but it wasn't like a roller coaster ride, haha, this is so entertaining and so much fun. It was just sort of, there it was. It's basically just a ripoff of Romancing the Stone, which I would much rather watch, because it's a better movie. I mean, they literally rip off, like, beat for beat in places. It's like, oh my god, are you kidding me right now? This is exactly the same thing as in Romancing the Stone. Like, what are you even doing? So, I'm not sure they didn't get in trouble for that. But, it's not great. It's average, really. The only thing that saves it and keeps it watchable is Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock, who managed to somehow take this useless script and actually kind of create likable characters, and you kind of root for them, and there's a little chemistry, but it's, yeah, not great. Don't go to the theater for that one. Even though it was still actually surprisingly crowded. Even now, weeks later, there were a lot of people. There were more. I expected there'd be like 5 or 6 people in the theater. There was a good number of people. And of course, I'm not crazy about it because people aren't wearing masks anymore, because the pandemic's over, didn't you hear? So I just leave my mask on the whole time, because I don't want to catch it, still. The other thing I want to talk about is more game-related, and that is the Halo television series that recently premiered on Paramount+. I forgot to talk about it in the last episode, after I saw the first show, but now I'm kind of glad that I waited, because after the second episode, my opinion has changed slightly. The first one, I was like, okay, this is fine. Like, first episodes are always a lot of setup, but they set up the characters, they set up the premise, and aside from some dodgy special effects here and there, it was fine. I was like, okay, I'm on board. Let's see where this goes. The problem is, with the second episode, like, it didn't go where I thought it was going. They kind of reset, in a way, and I'm sort of like, oh, okay. So I'm going to give it one more episode to see where the plot goes from there, because I thought it was going to be one kind of show, but now it's like, oh, wait, is he going back now to the fascist government? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't bother me. Like, I'm just sort of like, meh. The second episode, I was less interested in what was going on. I don't know. I'm not a huge Halo fan. I think I played the first Halo game on my Xbox back in the day and didn't even finish it. So I don't know the story. I don't know what they're doing to it, if they're like completely ruining everything from the lore or whatever, you know. I don't know. I don't care. The show itself, what they're presenting, is interesting to me, and that's fine. If you're a huge Halo fan, you might be like, no, this isn't how it's supposed to be. I don't know. Your mileage may vary. But mine is petering out because the second episode was less good than the first. So I'll give it another one and see what happens. I mean, it's probably only like 8, but whatever. And then the other thing I want to talk about this week is E3. Because ESA recently announced that there will be no E3 this year. Like, not at all. Not even a digital one like before when COVID hit and they were like, oh, well, we'll just have digital presentations online and whatever. Now they're not even doing that. And it's unfortunate, but understandable, because like E3 wasn't what it isn't what it once was. Like, Sony was doing their state of plays, Nintendo's been doing their Nintendo Directs, Microsoft's been doing their own presentations too. It's like, there's no need to wait for E3 and have everybody do everything all at once. And then I guess, you know, you get lost in the shuffle or whatever. You can do your own a month or two before, and then you get more attention. And people will notice you more, I guess. But I am a little sad. I count myself very lucky that I was able to go to E3 for a few years, like 2009, 10, and 11, I think it was. When I was writing for Gay Gamer, there was a point where they said, hey, do you want to go to E3? We'll send you to E3. And I was like, free trip to Los Angeles to go to E3? Yes, please. And I took the week off work and I went. The first year was incredibly overwhelming. I didn't know what was going on. It was all new. It was insane. The second year was amazing because they actually sent a couple more writers, so I had less appointments, I was less busy, and I could explore more, and it was more of a better experience. And then the third year was worse because there were only 2 of us, and it was just crazy. And I couldn't do everything myself, and it was just nuts. But I'm glad I went. It was a lot of fun. And it's like, I get it. Like, yeah, it's super easy and it's cheaper. Like, don't waste money making a booth. Just put it up online and show your trailer and get everybody excited for your game. But there's also, like, you'd go to the presentation and they'd show you stuff, but then you would go to their booth and then you could, like, get your hands on it and play a little bit of it, play a little demo, talk to the developer, talk to somebody, and you know, try it out. Like, you can't do that if you're just watching a trailer on YouTube, you know? Like, the hands-on first impressions are kind of helpful and important, but, so I would miss that from E3. But, I mean, I'm not going anymore, and I am super glad that I went when I did, because, like, the last few years before COVID hit, they were actually opening it to the public and selling, like, thousands of tickets to fans to come. And I'm like, ugh, because then it turns it into PAX East and PAX, which is like, I would go to PAX East as a journalist, but it was so hard to see anything unless you had an appointment because there were long lines of fans. So I was like, never mind. But E3 was industry, so you'd have your appointments and it was, you know, but when you fill it up with fans, it just gets super crowded and annoying. And I mean, I'm certainly not going to any conventions for a while now, but, you know, it's a little sad. We'll see what happens next year. They say it's coming back next year, but will it be an in-person event? Will it be digital? I can't imagine it's going to be in person, because with COVID, it's just, like, you had to worry about con crud in the beginning. Now, you've got to worry about con crud and COVID, which is worse, COVID. So, I'm just a little sad. I do miss E3, but Haven't gone in years, so I don't really care personally. For me, it's just like, as an industry thing, I think it's a bit sad. And it was always nice to just kind of have everything all together and see what's new, instead of spreading it out, and then you miss things. But whatever, that's enough rambling. I will talk to y'all again next time. Bye-bye!